I don't think that the church, I don't think that we as Christians revere Christ as we used to, so it no longer shocks us to hear his name used in that fashion. And what do I mean by that? I mean, in America, the heresy that what used to be considered a heresy, Antinomianism, has become mainstream. Now, what is Antinomianism? Antinomianism is the idea that as Christians we are saved simply by the grace of God and nothing we do matters. Sins that we commit don't matter. And that disincentivizes dealing with our sins. It wasn't always so. I remember taking a course at Fuller Theological Seminary when I was young, and the professor was talking about the fact that early in the 20th century, a man was actually ejected from the Presbyterian Church because he was very certain of things, and he was certain that he was saved, that his salvation was a done deal. And this was so shocking to the members of that congregation that they could not fellowship with him, even though he was quite a wealthy man. And it's not something that exists. It's not a doctrine that exists, I think, in other parts of the world, and it certainly did not exist, at least except when it was recognized as a heresy in the early church. The members of the early church were zealous at trying to offload sin. Oftentimes these were very simple people with unspectacular professions, very ordinary professions, working with their hands. Nothing wrong with that. Those are the people that constituted the church. But these people with these backgrounds were called by outsiders philosophers, which meant that they had achieved a certain spiritual and intellectual excellence. And they achieved it by trying to separate themselves emotionally from the pleasures of the world. In fact, some members of the early church were even suspicious of hot baths because that was just too worldly. That is the zeal that they felt for becoming like Christ, following literally his instruction, "Be perfect as I am perfect."